Hello everybody and welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Millie and I post at least 3 times a week on a Monday, Wednesday and a Friday. Usually what I do here is very fun, bright, colourful makeup. However, we are completely going in the other direction. We're embracing the clean girl aesthetic just for this one video here because Pixi very kindly sent me basically a full face of products to be testing out. So we're going to be putting all of this to the test today and seeing what these products are like. I've only ever tried the skincare products from Pixi. Obviously they do makeup, like they do more than just the 5 items that I have got here. They do a full range of makeup products. They are more clean girl aesthetic sort of a vibe, but you know what, I appreciate a light coverage foundation. I absolutely appreciate a glowy blush, so let's just get on into it. I will leave all of these products linked down below. So we'll start with the Pixi On The Glow Base Foundation Moisture Stick, and I went for the shade Vanilla. I have already put on my moisturiser, which is, obviously we're going with a theme here, it is the Pixi one, the Vitamin C Creme Serum, like the encapsulated, obviously like... Obviously I've been loving this. I will absolutely repurchase that because I love it. It's beautiful under makeup. It really does bridge a primer, skincare sort of a base so you can see how glowy my skin looks. And I've got dry skin, so I love that as like a beautiful moisturising primer. Underneath everything, I'm under no illusions that this is going to be very glowy anyway. So it is like... I don't love this packaging. It is a little bit like a deodorant stick, but all it says on here is hydrating solid foundation, use all over to even out skin tone, layer for extra coverage. I can do that. I will probably use a brush rather than a sponge because I feel like just for me and how I like to do my makeup, I probably will need all of the coverage that this is going to offer me. But let's, I feel like I've wound that up too much. Let's just swipe this on. Okay, that colour looks great. Let's just do half of my face at first. They do a concealer. They do a few different types of concealer, but I didn't get a concealer, so we will have to use something else. But let's just press this in. See how much coverage we can get. That colour is great though, good for me. Okay, so I have very lightly just sort of pressed that into the skin. I'm not swiping, but just very lightly tapping over all of that. And that looks like nothing. It is glowy, it is very glowy, but like you can see the difference there in the redness across my cheeks. I feel like that's just evened everything out so beautifully. This is reminding me a little bit, if you've been here before, you know the love that I have for the Catrice Soft Glam Filter Stick. I have been through like 5 or 6 of those. I absolutely love them. This is giving me a similar vibe to that, but almost a little bit more coverage. I very much enjoy that. So let me even myself up and then we will see, because it says that this is buildable, we will see how this will layer up on itself, because honestly this looks, when it's pressed into the skin, this looks like nothing. I was not expecting this to feel so wearable for me. I thought that this would be too glowy, too sheer for me to feel comfortable with this just by itself. And obviously it goes without saying, although these products were gifted, I am under no obligation to say anything positive if I don't enjoy them. You can see how this is looking on my skin. It looks great. And it feels lovely as well. It does feel very nice and hydrating, which in this heat we've been having in the UK is real pleasant. So that is the other side, all tapped in. I think that that looks great, so let me see. Let's just add a little bit more right in the centre. So it is almost like sinking in, but it does still feel really nice and hydrating. Let's see. It says that it's buildable. We're testing it for science. Okay, I feel like that's added a tiny little bit more coverage. Not a ton. I wouldn't necessarily say that that is adding enough more coverage for me to feel like I'm benefiting from it, if that makes sense. Like, it almost does just look exactly the same as before. So that is the, what did I say it was? The On the Glow base stick. First impressions, I really, really like it. So let me do a concealer, zoom you out, and then we can do the rest of the face, because I'm excited about the glowy blush, okay? I'm excited about the glowy blush, of course I am. So I have also just added a little bit of a tinted brow gel, which is the Emco Magic Brows in Auburn. Just added a little bit of that through the brows. Now let's go on to the bronzer. So this is the On the Glow Bronze Tinted Moisture Stick, and I got this in Soft Glow. I do believe all of the stick products are glowy. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong, but I think that they were all glowy. So I will just get my Real Techniques Expert face brush. Oh, interesting. This one's got a little like plastic cover. The foundation one didn't. So that is what the colour looks like. Do I dare just swipe this straight onto my cheeks? I think we do. We haven't set anything. I've got a setting powder. It's a H2O based, like a water based setting powder. So this could ruin absolutely everything, but anyway. Haven't got to that one yet. Let's try the bronzer. So that colour is very, very light. Oh, actually no, that's okay. Looking in my mirror there, that looks very, very light, but I do think that that's okay. So I'll slightly put that like a little bit more up onto the cheeks, especially with it being glowy. And a few swipes across the old forehead. Let's warm up the skin with this one, and again just pressing it in. I think I potentially picked a slightly too light shade for me, although a lot of the time I do pick a slightly too dark shade, so maybe I've overcompensated and gone too light with this one. I mean, it looks okay. Yeah, yeah, I like that. It is more sheer, it is glowy, like it is a very, very glowy bronzer. You can see that across my forehead, but again, that has sunk in, or like it feels, obviously all of the products are like skincare based makeup products. It really is like a hybrid sort of a brand, but it does feel really, really nice and sort of thick and moisturising. I will just see if we can get a little bit more. Yeah, we're getting more there, aren't we? On the forehead. It is summer. I'd like my skin to at least pretend to look a little bit summery. It is very, very nice and glowy though. But I love a glowy bronzer. Yeah, I like that. Not the biggest fan of the deodorant shaped packaging, but I appreciate it's unique. I like that. Oh, you can also use it on your body. Yeah. Hydrating solid bronzer used to add warmth and dimension to face and body. Yeah. I am not mad. I've heard that colour has sort of worked out in the end. That is looking really, really nice. So now let's move on to the glowy blush. I'm so excited for this one. So this is the Liquid Glow. This is Warmth. So we might be able to use this as like a blush bronzer sort of thing if I can get into the box. Why am I struggling? Wow, okay, so this is huge. Okay. Why wasn't I expecting that to be so massive? I don't know. I do like the packaging with like the green. Obviously I love green, so I like that. Oh, that colour looks great. Nice big applicator. Get my brush at the ready. How much do we think I'll need? That is definitely more of like a bronzer, blush bronzer sort of a shade for me. Ooh, and that is very, very pigmented. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, yeah. I need to wipe this brush off because I put too much on. Why is the blush so pigmented and then the bronzer? I mean, granted, the bronzer was probably too light for me, but I need to figure this out. One moment. I applied way, way too much of that blush, but I went over, I just swiped the foundation stick like over my cheeks again and put a bit more foundation on to cover that over. It is really, really nice and glowy, like it does look juicy on the skin, but that is sort of sinking in and setting down. But warning, the blush, you only need a teeny tiny amount. But I think that looks really nice, and that colour was great. Warmth. I can't remember what, there were a load of different options. Liquid Glow in Warmth. That's lovely. And that is nice and warm. I could probably use that shade as a bronzer. You just don't need very much of it. So, let's go ahead. They did also send me a highlight moisture stick in Ice Pearl, but I don't feel like I need it. So I might save that for another day. I will save that for another day because they did... This terrifies me. This absolutely terrifies me. This is the H2O Skin Veil Hydrating Loose Powder. If you've been here for a while, you maybe remember the trauma that I had with that Revolution. What even was it? It was like the Hydra something setting powder that was made from water, and it awful. But hopefully this is better because it really can't be any worse. So let's see. This is translucent. Yeah, and it doesn't actually say that it has water in it, where the Revolution one, the main ingredient was water. So I've got higher hopes for this one. So I've still got a real big fluffy brush. I'm not doing anything with a puff because that's scary. And oh, I'm gonna have to struggle with the packaging here for a minute. There we go. So it's just got a little plastic cover over here with holes in it, and I'm gonna tap some of this out into the lid and also all over my hand. Jolly good. Let me get all of that into the brush there. I'm not wasting it because what if it's good? Let's dip the brush into there, tap off the excess. I'm so scared. Can you tell that I'm like stalling? Because what if it's bad? Right, so I've got product on my brush there and I'm lightly. Okay, so it doesn't feel cold or wet like the Revolution one did. One minute. I feel like you can see the difference there, like side by side. Oh my goodness, I think I love this powder. I was so scared. You could tell how scared I was. Let me do half my face. It really is translucent. You cannot see it at all. Okay, Pixie, you're not just a makeup brand. oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind. Not just a skincare brand. That is one of the lightest weight setting powders I think I have ever used. So that's the before. And bear in mind, I've got more light coming in from this side of my room because I've got a massive window over at this side, which I try and block out. The sun is coming in from this side. Look how glowy this, I mean, this is still nice, do not get me wrong. This is still lovely, but that is glowy. That is very, very glowy. And then just with the lightest little layer of powder, that is legitimately blurred. Like, that looks blurred in real life. And I don't have a lot of like texture and stuff on my skin that I necessarily feel like I need to blur. Like, that looks so good. Absolutely nothing like the Revolution one. I was terrified of that, but it's absolutely nothing like the Revolution one. I think that that's one of the best powders I've ever tried. That's very exciting for me. As a dry skin gal trying to find a powder that doesn't make me look like a piece of chalk. Yeah, that is perfection. That is perfection. And it really is translucent, like even where it's going over that blush and everything. Should we try the highlight stick over the top of powder? Is that crazy? Is that gonna ruin my day? I think we should try it. Let me zoom you out. Okay, so let's just try this one for science, because honestly we're here at this point, we may as well. It's the Super Glow Highlight Moisture Stick, and I got this one in Ice Pearl. And again, they had a load of different shades. I think they had one that was more like peachy that I was very, very tempted by, but I decided to go for the most icy one. And I love a highlight stick. I would reach for a highlight stick or a liquid over a powder any day. I just think that they soak into the skin so beautifully and look just extra glowy and flawless. So I'm gonna be sensible about this, and I'm gonna just use my blush brush actually and pick it up on the stick rather than swiping this on, because I have that setting powder on my skin now. So let's get the product on there and tap back over the top of the cheeks. Obviously you can still see a bit of the glow, like you can still see a little bit of the glow coming through from the glowy blush, and obviously the foundation was glowy, but that is adding a wet look to the skin. Yeah, and that's going over that powder really, really nicely. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. I would always rather go over like bare skin with a product like this and then set around it, rather than going with a cream over a powder. But you know what, if needs must. And adding more glow is always a need for me. If needs must. That has worked incredibly, incredibly well. Yeah, that glow is delicious. That is so, so good. I'm a huge fan of that. I'm a huge fan of all of this. The bronzer is too light for my preferences, but you know what, that would work very, very well on my body actually. When my legs haven't seen the sun for weeks, a little bit of that down the legs, absolutely. So that is how we are looking. I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyes because I've got some other products that I wanted to test for my eyes, and I will be right back. But first impressions, I'm impressed. Okay, so I've just added a little bit of lip liner it's always this one. It's the Essence 8 Hour Comfort Matte Lip Liner in Cushion Talk. Just added a little bit of that, and I've got a little mini of the Pixi, oh no, what was this called? Lip Tone in Prettiness. This is a pH reacting gloss, but I don't find that it is very, I feel like all pH glosses sort of go the same colour, but this one is a very, very pretty sort of nudie pink, and it is like a thicker glossy balm sort of texture. Really, really lovely and hydrating, but doesn't necessarily go that hot pink that I would have expected from a pH gloss. You know, they all go very, very hot pink, but this is a really, really nice one, and I have been using this for a while. I've had this for a little while. Obviously it's just a tiny little mini one, but I've been using that as part of like my nighttime skincare because it does feel really, really nice and cushiony and really, really deeply hydrating. Like, it's absolutely still on my lip like when I wake up in the morning. So that is my full face, nearly full face, not the eyes, if you saw the short for this. So all of this has been on for like half an hour while I went off and filmed the eye products that are the Revolution ones, but I feel like this is still looking so good. It is hot in here, but I do still feel like that powder is doing its job. Honestly, the standout products from today's video are the blush. I loved that blush, and the powder, which I didn't think the powder was going to be a favourite. I did think the blush was going to be a favourite, but I did not think that that powder was going to be as fantastic as it is. I really, really like that powder. Surprise! This dry skin gal likes a powder, but I feel like the highlight is definitely a win as well. The highlight is lovely. It looks wet on the skin, and that is not sticky or tacky on the face. That just looks wet and glowy and glossy. I absolutely love. The foundation was fine. The foundation stick was fine. It was just sort of a skin tint, but I do feel like that looked very, very nice on the skin. The bronzer, I picked the wrong shade. That was not bronzy enough for me, but the blush was perfection. The blush was lovely, and that powder has honestly just blown me away. That powder is incredible. I'm very, very excited to try that powder with like other foundations because I think that that will work incredibly, incredibly well. It's blurred. I very, very much enjoy the powder, but that is everything. I would love to hear if you have tried anything from Pixi, any of their other makeup products. What else do I need to try? Because I'm impressed. As much as I didn't pick the right colour for the bronzer, they were still very, very lovely, but everything else, like, I'm really, really impressed. So I'd love to hear if you've tried anything, what do you recommend? But until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye bye.